Welcome back to Hilarious Pass-AroundStories. I'll be your host today, Emily, and joining me is not Sunny today. It's Mom and Dad. You already know a little bit about them from previous shows, but I'll let them tell you their favorite color anyway.
Hi, it's Mom. My favorite color has always been purple, but deep down, I think it's blue.
Hi, I'm Dad, and this is truly a pass-around story since I had lost one of my microphone cables, and we have to share a mic, but that'll be okay. My favorite colors are black and gray. Great colors.
Okay, anyway, let's start the story. So, once upon a time, there were two ducks named Brenda and Bailey, and they were going to camp in the jungle.
Ducks in a jungle. What kind of jungle do ducks live in?
A tropical jungle.
Full of ducks.
And also, there's candy everywhere. Everything's made of candy in this jungle. It's a candy jungle.
A candy jungle?
And they were at camp.
Yeah, there's a candy jungle camp. Now, in the jungle, there are still dangerous jungle animals like lions and tigers and things of that nature, and snakes, anacondas in particular. But the entire jungle is made out of candy, and the ecosystem has all adapted to living in a candy-filled jungle. So all of these animals are hopped up on sugar all the time, which can be very dangerous.
So one day at camp, their camp person, master kind of thing, their camp leader, that's it, told them, you guys are going to go on an adventure, and you guys are going to have to find a specific candy rabbit.
The candy rabbit was hidden deep in a cave, so they had to climb up the side of a mountain
made of rock candy
to get to the cave, and then go all the way to the end of the cave to find the rabbit.
And the candy rabbit's name was Can. And he was kind of lazy and fat.
Okay.
Which is why he was at the end of the cave. He just kind of lived there.
Yeah. But how did he get to the end of the cave if he was so lazy?
He just found it one day and then just stopped. And he could eat the candy from the mountain.
He got there very slowly.
Gotcha. Anyway, so to get there, first they had to climb the mountain, which they did. But before they could go into the cave, there was an obstacle. That obstacle was a 1,000-foot tree made of chocolate and
caramel. They had to eat their way through the chocolate and caramel tree to be able to get to the cave.
However, one of the campers was smart and realized everyone was saying they needed to start from the top down, climb up, eat from the branches down. But one camper realized that, like a beaver, if he ate the bottom of the tree, the rest of it would fall over. And that's exactly what he did. And he saved them a lot of time.
That was pretty dangerous, though, because it was filled with caramel on the inside. So once they started eating the bottom, it started oozing and oozing. And it was like a caramel flood.
So they were stuck in the caramel flood. To get out, they had to...
Do you mind? Do you mind?
I just finishing my smoothie. Sorry.
Anyway, so to get out the flood, they had to put on their special duck floaties.
They also had special duck coats because they're ducks and they just have these things.
And they went swimming in the caramel. And they had a blast. They jumped in doing cool tricks. They played fish out of water and Marco Polo. And then they kind of got swept up by the flood. And then they got drenched in caramel. And it was too sticky to get out of. So one duck was smart enough to grab
the Dawn soap.
The Dawn soap.
Which, if you've ever looked at the bottle of Dawn soap, it cleans the penguins and the ducks and other birds. So it's probably good to get caramel off. The biggest difficulty that the ducks had is that they could not fly until they got all the caramel off. And because all of them were covered in caramel, no one could actually squeeze the Dawn out of the bottle. So that's when they had to call, using their mallard voice, for another animal to come and help them. And the animal that came and helped them was
a giraffe. And he talked like this.
He loved that mallard voice. Let's hear that mallard call, shall we?
He's doing
Wah! Wah!
And the giraffe heard the call, Now, this giraffe used to be
His
kind
name
of
was
a-
Bobathan.
Well, no, it's not Bobathan.
It's Bobathan.
It's Jeffrey.
It's
He used to be
Bobathan.
kind of a business magnate, but the problem is that Jeffrey owned this toy empire, and then everyone started buying their toys on Amazon. So Jeffrey lost everything, and for years he had been drifting around the candy jungle without a purpose, wishing that there was something he could do to find fulfillment in his life. And when he heard the call of the ducks covered in caramel, he knew that his life could have purpose and meaning again. Just like he used to make children happy with his toys, he could now make ducks happy by spraying them with Dawn and water.
So, he thought about making a career out of it, but before he could think of all those business stuff that I don't want to think about right now, he went and got a giant stick attached to a pool floaty. He went and got the dish soap, he sprayed the ducks, and then
It was like a duck slip and slide.
then he made a duck slip and slide out of his stick, and he poked a hole in the tube, and it was a slip and slide. They slid right out of the caramel.
But as you can imagine, now they're at the bottom of the mountain again. Between the caramel rushing river and the slip and slide, they've got to get back up that mountain to get to the end of the cave.
So they called a bird named
Jim.
Jim. Jim the bird.
He was a large bird.
He was a large bird.
Like large in terms of wingspan, not weight. Very graceful, and he was able to carry a lot. Yes, he was able to carry quite a bit. So they called him, and he also wanted to help, and he had been friends with Jeffrey back during their business days. In fact, he was something of a business partner, and while the end of their company had put an emotional rift between the two of them, he decided he was willing to put the past behind him and rescue his old friend. And so he picked them all up and carried them to the top of the mountain.
Except
Candy Mountain!
Except guys, no. Except
They stole his kidney. No, never mind. I thought we were doing Charlie and the Unicorn here.
Charlie the Unicorn, by the way, is a crazy YouTube video. But anyway, the obstacle was a flying shark.
Huh. That sounds oddly familiar to something I've seen recently. But there was a flying shark carried by birds, I suppose.
Named Kathy.
And she was trying to attack them.
The problem for the shark, however, was that sharks can't breathe out of water. So all the big bird had to do was fly around in circles until the shark died because it was not in water.
Pretty unfortunate situation.
Yeah.
They finally made it to the entrance of the cave, but they had to still get through the cave. That took quite a bit of time because it was dark and they needed some flashlights.
So there weren't many flashlights because there wasn't much electricity. So they had to grab a Hershey bar, some caramel, some ice cream, and some the suckers that you dip in the toilets, and rub it all together. And
Suckers that you dip in the toilets.
Okay.
What are you talking about?
There's a candy. There's a candy. It has a lollipop attached to it or a sucker or whatever, and it's the toilet. You dip it in the toilet, and
Are you talking like a plastic toilet?
Like a
Yeah,
fun
like a
dip
plastic-
situation.
Not like the porcelain toilet that's in the bathroom over there.
no.
No. Okay. Have you ever dipped a lollipop in a toilet before?
No, have you?
Confessions.
No.
Never.
No. I've never eaten anything that's come out of a toilet before.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Do I need to ask your mom?
Yeah. Why would I eat something that came
I'm
out of
gonna
a toilet?
ask your mom.
Okay, so they shoved all of these things together and it made some
Electricity.
sort of spark from all of the chemicals that were binding together. And they used that glow beam safely in their hands and their little duck wings to carry it through the cave to the end to find Can the bunny.
And as they got to the end of the cave,
They had to do the can to pass through the door to get into Can's Canyon Land.
and once they got through the door and entered Can's Canyonland, it was a room that was lit up with all kinds of different colors.
And TVs.
Yeah.
Because he's like.
But Can had a final battle round.
Oh, wait, and he also had a bunch of DoorDash gift cards.
He had to ask them, they had to answer 2 riddles before they could take Can back down with him.
The first riddle was
What's round Old
I
and made
have
of
a
hay.
riddle.
What's old, round, and made mostly of hay? The answer was Can-Can's poop, because that's what rabbit poop is. It's round, it's old.
They answered correctly, so they moved on to the next question.
It turns out that Can-Can as a rabbit was not good at making up difficult riddles, and his only point of reference was his own experience.
Okay, so the next riddle was you look at a boat. There are bunches of people there. You turn around and look back, and there's not a single person there. How?
Is on TV.
No, they're all married.
Interesting. After they did the riddle, someone found a magic ring in the cave that Can-Can was hiding, and one of the ducks found it and put it in his pocket.
And it turned the duck invisible. But then they realized that they had unleashed the powers of darkness, and they had to travel to Mordor to throw it in a volcano.
This is not
or else everyone was going to get eaten by orcs.
This does
or
not
something
sound
like,
like
that.
Lord of the Rings at all.
Yeah, but it turns out that Can-Can was actually on their side. It turns out they had another name, and it was Gandalf, and he was a wizard, and he cast magic spells, and they threw the ring into the fire, but they also had to push one of the ducks in there because he got a little too attached to it, and he would have been a problem had he survived.
Anyway, Can-Can came with them down to the mountain because they answered the riddles.
Yeah. So they returned to the Candy Mountain, a.k.a. the Shire.
Oh my gosh.
They returned back to camp for their first obstacle, and that was the first very long day of camp.
It was, but when they got back at camp, they had to eat the food there, and the food wasn't good. The food was
Not
raw
candy.
liver smoothies.
It was mostly vegetables
And raw liver smoothies.
to combat all the candy.
High in protein, though. Raw liver smoothies.
Have you ever had one?
No.
Good.
But apparently liver's really good for you. You got a lot of collagen. People like that these days.
A lot of good support from organ meats.
Yeah. It's good. It gives you younger skin.
The ducks were glowing after they left camp. However,
And
the food was terrible.
But the ducks realized if they're going to eat this terrible food and get all this protein, they were going to need to go to the gym and bulk up. So the ducks started hitting the gym,
And
benching.
then all the ducks got tired, so they went to their cute little cabins. They had a bunch of little bunk beds, and it was cute.
Little duck bunk beds.
They were duck bunk beds.
Dump beds.
Woo!
Okay.
Like DuckTales.
Okay. Anyway,
That's a show none of these
they
kids
were-
have ever heard of before.
my friends have watched DuckTales.
Have they? Do they have like
Yeah.
a new version of it or something?
Your best friend's kids.
Oh, yeah. Well, obviously. That's because they're raising them right. Don't say any names. This is an
We're
anonymous
not going
show.
to say any
We're
names.
we're staying anonymous here.
Wrap it up.
So, once they woke up the next morning, they had a delicious breakfast of candy and Can and the giraffe and the bird Jim all ate with them. And their camp leader named
Raymond.
Raymond. And then his wife, Elsie?
Rayma.
Rayma, okay. They all lived happily ever duck camp. Thank you for listening. I would like to thank my mom and dad for being on this show.
You're so welcome.
It was a pleasure.
Yes, it was. And the next episode will be out soon. Thank you. Bye.